All right, hey there. Good morning, everybody. Christopher Franks with Texas West Capital. It's just after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. San Antonio, Texas. Entertaining evening last night. Hopefully, none of y'all got wrecked on that or anything. Price basically getting rejected at that monthly supply structure EQ that I've been mentioning over and over and over again. So, hopefully, you guys marked that on your charts and kept that in mind. I think it went about 50 or 60 bucks above that. So pretty good level in there. Yeah. So the question now is, do we have further upside or not? Sorry guys. Listen. Before I go into this, I got news this weekend that a friend of mine passed away back home. Not from COVID directly, but from COVID related. Basically, they got COVID. That led to them getting systolic heart failure. And then while they were in surgery getting a pump put into the heart, they had a brain aneurysm. So, just be careful out there, guys. I don't for most people, I don't think COVID's a real issue, but you never know if you're that person. This person was, in great health, a little bit older, early 60s or so, but an amazing person. The world really lost somebody great with that. So, yeah, tell people how you feel. Make sure they know you love them. Make sure they know you're thinking about them. Don't get so caught up in life that you forget to do those things, especially with what's going on with the markets right now. It's easy to get caught up in it and spend all your time thinking about it and kind of ignoring friends and family. You don't want to do that, though, because, again, the next day is never, promised, guys. So, sorry, I don't mean to start this on a down note here, but I hadn't really shared that yet, and only just with a few people, so I just kind of want to get that out there. Anyway, let's get back to this here. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Let me see here. Who's here already? Paula Torres. Hello. Good to see you checking in. Hola. Spiral Architect. Good to see you. LG as well. Guglielmo checking in again. Optimus Lime. I like that. Good to see you. Esteban checking in. DJ Data is here. Look at that. Right on time. Love it. Baker, what's going on, buddy? He says, great timing on the BMA last night. I was able to catch a nice short. Yeah, so last night was really great. I kind of pointed out as we were right up there at the top a few different things that were going on. So those of our members that were online at that time, which actually is quite a few of them because we got so many that are from the other side of the planet, they had good heads up for that reversal that happened. I mean, at one point, I think we dropped something like $1,200 or $1,300 in about 4 or 5 minutes at one point. So definitely a good catch on that to at least take some profit, even if it's going to have further upside, or to maybe even grab a short as Mr. Baker did there. Hey there, LXT. Good to see you. Bianca here as well. Brian, hello, sir. Thank you. Yes. Hey there, Nevlusian. Telluride, what's going on, man? Good to see you catching in. I know you had to catch it on the day that I kind of shared that news, right? But that way you guys kind of know what's going on with me. If I end up, having to be gone for a day or something, for the funeral or something like that, especially if you're in Discord with us, it's not a surprise, what's going on there. And if I'm a little bit slow in responding, just kind of dealing with all that. Hey, Greg, good to see you, Casper. All right. GT checking in from Washington. Good to see you checking in here as well. So, hey, guys, listen, you can join us at howtotradetowin.com. We'd absolutely love to have you there. Again, we produce just a ridiculous amount of content on a daily basis. Everything from setups to daily updates and intraday updates for up to 20 different assets. We do education. Not only do we have over 30 hours of educational videos there, but we also do the live streaming every week on Wednesdays. So we'll be doing it today for Tier 3. on there as well. So lots of ways for you guys to get involved and come on in there and join us. We'd love to have you there. But, regardless of all that, really, it's the group of people that are in there. You see a lot of them here. Navlusian, Telluride, Baker, Data. A lot of these guys are with us. And really great guys that produce a lot of information, a lot of thoughts and ideas and analysis, even during the night when I'm not, when I'm sleeping. So it's a great thing to have there. By the way, if you haven't been in and you're kind of concerned about, is there anything we really do in there? These are our channels here, depending on if you're, tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. If you're tier 3, you'll pretty much see all of these. Other than this right here, this is a special thing we did a couple years back that we've got some members in that we don't do anymore for anybody else. But again, requested charts. We've got resources, good vibes. You can find out what people think of us and, what members think of us and whatnot and each other. This is a place to kind of, the world gets kind of grumpy out there every once in a while, and it's a great place to kind of go in there and leave some, kind words for somebody that's been on spot or helping out, or even what you think of us. So we've got that. All our update channels all through here, Bitcoin through the NASDAQ. So again, we've got stock exchanges here, indexes. We've got oil and natural gas, silver and gold. We've got the USD yen, CAD, Euro USD, and Aussie USD pair for Forex that are updated intraday. We do XRP, Tezos, Litecoin, Link, Ethereum, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash, and of course Binance Coin there as well. We do DXY updates a couple of times a day. These are the hot takes here. If you're tier 3, you get access to these. We do these. They come out late Sunday night, early Monday morning. Usually early Wednesday morning and early Friday morning. And so we get setups with cryptos, stocks, and Forex. Stocks, man. Let me see here. Yeah, so then we get the discussion channel here, and you'll see a lot of them just been really pumping out here. Naked's doing well, finally moving on there. Nikola, GSKY, Beyond Meat there, Blink. So tons of different things in there that we do. And then, of course, we've got discussion channels for each of these things, depending on what level you are, what you have access to. Tons of discussion channels in there. Bitcoin just, it's just always popping. It's our most popular channel, obviously. Let me see here. And then, of course, let me see. If you're a new trader, we've got something special we do now, new traders only. This is run by Adam. And so if you join, or if you're already a member and you really consider yourself a new trader, DM Adam and ask him about it. And he'll ask you some questions, kind of figure out if he thinks you kind of belong in there. But if you're a new trader, it's that place where you can kind of go in there and just ask questions you might be afraid of asking anywhere else because, you're just nervous because you're newer and you think somebody's going to think something silly of you or something. So it's a great place to get going there and get out of that fear of asking questions. Chart requests, chart critiques, whole bunch of different channels here to go through there, guys. So, again, a lot of content, guys. We're always pumping extra out there. So we'd love to have you there. Let me see here. Telluride just learned that Discord has a dark mode. Oh, Discord. I just saw something where they're rolling out finally the reply function. Like in Slack, where it was one of my biggest issues with Discord versus Slack. With Slack, you had the inline replies. Well, apparently Discord is rolling that out as well now. So hopefully we'll see that on our server sooner rather than later. But that makes it a lot easier to keep up with certain conversations. Something fantastic we've been bugging them about for a long time. So exciting times there. Hey there, Blockchain Gains. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you checking in. So anyway, exciting times for Discord there. Let's go ahead and jump in here and see where we're at. Let's see here. Yeah, so basically where we hit up here, see this line, this 18,418? That's basically that EQ of that monthly supply structure. See this monthly supply structure? This purple range? Right there is the EQ of it. And that's where we hit. And so if you've been following along for at least the last few weeks, we've mentioned this time and time again as the final kind of area. You're going to probably see a lot of supply coming in before the top. Remember, everybody else said once you get above up into this area here, it's all just, air. And I told you, I said there's going to be a lot of supply coming in right at that EQ. And that's what we got. Now we'll see, we'll see if it follows through here. As far as this goes here, by the way, if you don't remember, these red lines are all the major levels I'm looking at here. So basically, 14,000, 13,933, 12,142, 10,5, 91.50, 84.43, 74.54, 64.62, 58.86, 56.32, 49.21, 4,200, 36.41, and 31.65. Those are the major levels I'm looking at if price continues. Once it finally gets a pullback and it pulls back, if you're getting impulsively through one of those levels and a close below it, then I'm looking for the next lower, larger term level there. End of the day, the big picture still remains this ascending channel here. So if we're dropping through that resistance, that opens up a target of about $5,050 below the point of breakdown based on the height of this. So that's still going on there. Zooming in here. Right now, let me kind of close everything off here. We've got so much going on. Just kind of keep up with everything. We're at TD8 on the daily right now. And the daily so far is just printing a doji. Long-legged doji either direction. We've got about another less than 7 hours, maybe almost just over 6.5 hours until the daily close. A doji is at least a pause. You need to see a supply candle, a nice size supply candle coming in tomorrow to kind of confirm this reversal on that candlestick alone. But you are getting that and potentially a TD9 up here at resistance at the R3 pivot on the daily, which again doesn't guarantee that price is going to reverse there, but it adds some confluence to it. It adds a little more confidence to the fact that it might. But again, until you have a daily, if the daily closes like this, you want, a supply candle kind of like this or something coming out next to give you an idea that the reversal may be happening. We've still got room to the upside though on Stochh RSI here on the daily, as you can see. But right now, you've still got bearish divergence on the daily RSI. If we jump down here to the 4-hour. Oh, what do we got in the 4-hour here? We're starting to pull back some here. We're starting to get some movement now on this. We didn't get the bearish divergence here. It closes slightly higher here, so we've got a higher high. So that kind of leads me to think that this is maybe not the top here, that we might have one more push up maybe. But until we get above, right now, all what we're looking for right now is, let me turn off these TD sequential here. You're looking for an advance above 18,285 here on Bitstamp. That's your swing high. You've got to get a, if as long as you're below that, you should consider we're potentially heading lower. Once we get above that, then you can look at, okay, maybe we're headed up higher. Now, I did give you these, I mentioned these support lines here, these diagonal support lines based on this parabola it's kind of building. And I said pay attention to those. And so last night we had that decline down, it pierced it, popped back up, so good demand showing up. This morning, again, popped down through it, pierced it again, but good demand showing up. This was actually this morning's update. I gave this as the initial target, the EQ here of this demand structure. And so that was right there. I think I mentioned it. The first downside target was that one at 17,267 right here. And actually price went down just a bit lower to 17,250. But yeah, it's that EQ area that I was looking for, and that's where we got the bounce up out of. For right now, there is hidden bullish divergence printing on the 1 hour. But if price continues down below this swing low here, this $17,041.47, that will invalidate that. As long as it's above it, it's still a possibility. What's going on here? Potentially A, B, working on a C. If that's the case, you got a target right down here at the top of this next demand structure here at about 16,844. At that point, if this is an A and this is a B, then C would be equal to A at that point, 100%. So that would be the minimum target right there. And then, of course, after that, you've got the EQ at 16,730 or so, 16,725. If it does that. Now, locally here, again, the big issue as always is this large move down in such a short period of time. You zoom into the 1 minute. I did that for them this morning in Discord. And there's a count. Maybe it's an ABC, maybe it's a 5 count. If it's an ABC down, this gives you an ABC up here. Not quite 90%, about, it's just over 85.4%. So pretty close for a possible flat correction here. And generally, if that's a flat correction, you expect wave C to end just below wave A usually. So if this is, ABC down for A and then ABC up for B, then you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. Or heck, maybe it's a 1, 2 and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still coming down. Lots of possibilities on that. So my downside targets right now, based on this price action, if it gets down below this swing low here, is the swing low here is the first one at 17,041. Below that, I've got 16,844, 15,939, and 15,400. If we're moving up through this swing high here and through this swing high up here, my targets are 19,000, 19,323, 19,666, which is the all-time high here on Bitstamp, 20,252, and then 23,633. So again, not saying we're going to get all the way up there, or if we go down, then we'll get all the way down there. But just mentioning that if we move impulsively through one of those targets and close above it, then the odds increase that we're heading up to the next one or down to the next one. So those are the major levels that I'm kind of watching locally as price moves off that. So, right now we're seeing here, and again, if this is an ABC and this is an ABC, maybe this is an ABC, so you've got an A, B, C. If that's the case and we're heading up here for D as a triangle, then D cannot get above this swing high here, 18,285. So again, if you're looking at this as a potential triangle, A down here, B up here, C, D, E. Let me just change that color and everything to something easy, much more easier to see here. So again, if that's an A, B, C, you then look at A, B, C up here for D, and it shouldn't get above wave B. So if this continues up above this wave B, then this is not a triangle. Now, if it goes up, let's say, to this R1 pivot and completes D there, and then it comes down in 3, and it comes down below wave C here, then it's invalid. It's not a triangle. Wave E has to complete prior to wave C. The idea is it contracts in there. But if it does print out a triangle, again, you'd be looking potentially some along the lines of this here. If that happens, the target based on that is about $1,450 or so above point E, below the wave E termination point. So if this were to go D and then E was to come back down to the pivot, then the target would be 18,816. So that's the only extra target beyond what I already mentioned here that I would put in there if this completes as a triangle. It should be a minimum of that target there. So depending on where wave E ends, you would add, basically $1,444, $1,450 to that to get that final target. Remember, if it's a triangle in this uptrend here, that would make it a wave 4. So you have one wave left, which is your wave 5 off that. Why would it make more sense for price to turn down from this 18,000s area rather than around the all-time high? Because realistically, most players are going to be reducing their leverage the closer they get to 19,000. So it's less fuel for a push down. So if you're, again, you had this strong reaction right here, which was great. But, and you got people buying the dip, as you can see here, with these large wicks. And so what you want to do, if you want a good reversal coming out, is you want to maintain that that leverage. You want to make sure the people get in there are leveraging themselves up there so you can make that as an easier push down. And so that's, again, why we're doing it. Again, the closer you get to all-time high, once you get above 19,000, the more likely they are to be deleveraging their positions. Because, again, often price rejects prior to the all-time high or right above it. So if you delever your positions, it gives you an easier chance to get out at those points if that happens. If price continues up through it, then you can add back on leverage. And that's the way, larger players tend to think. That's the way they tend to operate. So you kind of delever your position, here a little bit, as you're getting into this point a little bit higher, to put less at risk in the possible, case that there is a subsequent strong reversal coming out of it. So you guys need to keep that in mind. Don't think that because it's getting up there higher, everybody's just going to keep piling in. You might have more retail piling in, but the big positions are going to be deleveraging themselves as it gets up higher. Getting larger and larger the positions are. So it gives you a chance to get a much larger reversal from below 19 than it does, I think, above it. But in either case, a reversal is bound to happen sooner rather than later. It's just how far does it continue going? Remember, this week is a TD8. This month is a TD8. So next week you're a TD9 on the weekly, and then right after the end of next week is the next month, December, and you're a TD9 on the monthly there. Let me see here. Oh my God, how can I get rid of these idiots and make sure they just don't come back? I keep blocking them, but geez. Hey there, Hank, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Let's see here. He thinks the wick on the daily will be a bull trap. I think there's a good chance of that, but we'll have to see how it plays out for sure. There's definitely still demand showing up. And so right now we've got lower highs and higher lows converging here. So maybe we get a little bit extra push, maybe not. We'll definitely have to see. Again, tomorrow would be the end of the day today. Here in another 6.5 hours is the end of this daily candle, and tomorrow's daily candle then potentially a TD9. So right up around that R3 pivot resistance kind of area. So yeah. Let's see here. Hank says he's not short, not long right now, but money to pay the bills, and that's what matters. It is. Especially if you tend to trade a bit toward income rather than toward investment long term. Yeah, for sure. Don't I want to become famous? Not really. I know it seems weird because I do these live streams and everything, but I'm not a very public person. So, that's why you don't see a lot of my life online. Everybody's always like, oh, show us your cars and your house and all that. And it's not my thing that I usually do. Maybe someday, I don't know. But I'm not really usually a very public person. So, yeah, I'm not really interested in being famous. Hey there, Devin. Good to see you. Silvio checking in as well. Always good to see you, my friend. Hank says it's taco money for him, but he likes tacos. Who doesn't like tacos? I'm just curious. Is Taco Tuesday synonymous across the world? Taco Tuesday is huge here in the U.S., especially in Texas. I'm just curious if you all feel the same way. Is Taco Tuesday a thing? Show us your books. Yeah, I should show you books, huh? I'll pull out some here. I don't know if I've got anything here really interesting to look at. I've got two right here. Let me see. Oh, here's 3 books. Okay. I've got 3 that happen to be sitting right here on this huge desk that I have. One is called Propaganda by Edward Bernays. You see that there? Propaganda. The other one is a A macroeconomics primer. It calls itself a primer on macroeconomics for sovereign monetary systems. It's a modern monetary theory by L. Randall Ray. So that's another one I've got there. Again, I'm always trying to learn more and more and more about the things, that I think I may know, because it's always good to know where your arguments may falter, or where you may think that they're saying something that they're not actually saying. So that's a good one. And then I've got The Crowd, A Study of the Popular Mind by Gustav Le Bon here as well. So those of you that know me know I have not only a financial background, but a social sciences type of background, with philosophy and theory, political theory, and psychology and stuff like that. So, it tends to help out a lot in trading. So those are my 3 books that I've got right now that I'm kind of going through. Yes, at the same time. Pretty good so far. Let's see here. LXT says, don't have tacos there. Oh, man, that's awful. That's awful. How can you not have tacos where you're at? Tacos are amazing. GT says, tacos every day. I love it. Data doesn't even know what tacos are. Oh, man, they're amazing. Gosh, you guys, if you've never had tacos, oh, my Lord, have mercy. Get you some tacos. Do whatever it takes to get you some real tacos. They're amazing. Now, they're not the street taco kind that we find over here sold in the food trucks. By the way, food trucks are a huge thing over here in San Antonio and Austin. You get some amazing food. They're basically just kitchens on wheels, basically. But real Mexican street tacos are absolutely fantastic. It's not the same stuff you get at Taco Bell. Those are, that's American food. I know it says Taco Bell, but Taco Bell really is American food. Hey there, Block Tech. Good to see you. GT says, get you a torta too. Yes, for sure. Jose Sanchez, what's up? No Taco Tuesdays in Mexico. It's taco every day, right? Jose? Marcel echoing that there's no tacos in Germany. Man, you guys don't know what you're missing. Tell Your Writer says tacos need to be everywhere like pizza and kebabs. I agree. You're speaking my language here. Hank says he knows Taco Tuesday from working with American colleagues, so not too sure it is a global thing, but well known amongst expat communities. Yeah, I didn't really figure it was a global thing. I was hoping maybe it was a little bit more widespread. It's amazing. Jose, hardly on the tacos every day there? Oh, man. Othman, all the tacos you've seen are in cartoons? Oh, man. Yeah, great stuff. Amber Lee says, Indian tacos are the best. That's how I became a fat little... You keep making me laugh with that. I've never had Indian tacos. Never had that. So... I honestly don't know. I've had a lot of stuff. Othman says, what about PayPal crypto volume? It reached Binance volume, I think. What about it? I mean, what are we looking at? I have to really look into PayPal to see how that is. I mean, it seems to me basically what they're doing is you're buying and selling off the blockchain. So basically, PayPal owns a bunch of Bitcoin, and you're buying and selling those. And then every so often maybe a group of transactions is added to the blockchain, kind of like what Bakkt does. But again, I haven't really looked into it real deep yet, so I'm not sure if that's what they're doing. If that is, it depends on how much supply of Bitcoin they currently have. If they've got enough Bitcoin to handle the volume, then it means relatively nothing, because again, those transactions are happening off the chain, off the main blockchain. They're happening on a little side chain there. So there would be that. I imagine PayPal would likely be getting most of their Bitcoin from over the counter. But see, again, if you're not really trading, are you really buying Bitcoin? Are you buying, really it comes down, with PayPal, you don't really have Bitcoin. You're really buying and selling IOUs, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's not your block, it's not your Bitcoin. You don't get to keep it. How do we know? Because you can't take it off the thing. You can't use it for anything else. You can't trade it anywhere. You buy it on PayPal, you use it on PayPal. So is it just an IOU system that they're employing there, basically? I think that maybe, they've got their own ledger books there, that, their own ledger chain there, that ledger on a chain there, that again, they just, they add to the blockchain every so often. I think that's probably how they do it. But, when you buy Bitcoin on PayPal, you're not really buying Bitcoin. I've really got to look at the legal. I've got to look at the legalese on all that. See how they describe it. It seems to me that since you can't move it off there and you can't use it in whatever, otherwise, other than with PayPal, it seems like it's more just a ticketing system. You're basically buying and selling IOUs, and depending on how much volume is coming in on average, PayPal may make certain over-the-counter buys periodically, to make sure that that their books are covering how much Bitcoin that they say they're going on. But again, I don't know for sure. I haven't really read deeply into the whole legal, so I got everything else going on at the moment. But that'll be something I'll check out and see. Yeah. Let me see here. Jordan, you've been farming tacos? Well, Marcel, I'm glad you're checking in, even though you missed some shows. The count from March, there's multiple ways to count it. I don't really have a consensus count on that. There is a possibility. There is a count that has this as the top. There's a count that has one more move up as the top. There's a count that has this as basically wave 3 and 4 of 3 of 1 of 3. So basically on that particular count, I guess basically what I'm saying is, it's one that we've talked about a while ago. Basically you have a 1, 2 here. And then you're, making this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get you a 3. Either where it's at or a little bit higher there into 20,000, maybe 19,000. You get a 4, and then you get a 5 on a pullback, makes a new all-time high maybe. And then you get a 4 on a pullback, and then you have a 5 even higher up. Until price continues playing up on that, I've just got it on the radar, but I'm not really overly invested in that type of move up at the moment. There is the possibility, as we've discussed, that this is an ABC down, this is an ABC up. We've hit the 90% level. Again, we hit the monthly supply structure here. So if this is an ABC down here, and this is an ABC up here, then we've potentially got a flat correction going here, which should get us 5 back down toward. Most often, your flat correction has a wave C that ends a bit below the wave A termination point. But no guarantees that's it yet either, as far as all that goes. If you make a new all-time high, then that regular flat or the or a zigzag, if you have 5 down here and then 3 up and then 5 more down, that zigzag would also be out. So those two would be out. It doesn't preclude a possible A, B, C above the all-time high here to get you an expanded flat. And then you look for price to drop down way below the wave A swing low. But again, I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, my big bearish scenario, I would keep it in mind, but really my bearish scenario that I'm looking at right now is the 3 down, 3 up. And so what I'm looking for is a definitive reversal out of these kind of 18s to 19,000 area prior to the all-time high, a strong reversal out of that. And then that sets up the possibility that there is a flat correction going on. Just a possibility. It would depend on how the volume and how the structure, as it decreases from there, as the price declines from there, evolves to give us a better idea. Because if that is, A down, B up, and then C down, you're going to have 5 waves coming down. So, just trading along the way as it goes. And then, when you get bigger confirmation about what is validated or invalidated, Yeah, you can trade heavier into it. Yeah. Let me see here. Bianca says, love the triangle idea, following something similar on Link. Yeah. It's a possibility. Again, the biggest issue just comes with that drop last night. It always makes it much more difficult because you go down so far so fast. And there's always that question, is it 5 down or is it 3 down? But if it is 3 down, we've definitely got 3 up here. And it looks like we could have 3 down here. So, it starts really building that case for a possible there. Of course, the other possibility is there's a 1, 2 here, 3, 4, and you've got a 5 still coming. So it's an A, B, and a C down there. So that's why I gave out all those levels and kind of what we're looking at. Until you're actually getting above this swing high, this 18,285, don't assume that it's just a pullback. It could be more. But once you get above that level, then you can assume it's just a pullback and probably done at that point. And you can look for that higher targets now based on what we have in there. Let's see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Let's see here. Taylor says, honestly, why would anyone buy crypto on PayPal? I don't know, but seems it could be a top mania indicator. Anyone with research and size wouldn't touch it. Yeah, I mean, if you can't move it off there, nobody's going to buy it. Again, the whole idea of buying it on PayPal, it just allows less technical people to get it. It allows people who don't have much experience in investing or trading to get involved, kind of like the Robinhood app, how it kind of gamifies trading, and it makes it where people come in and they think they can do it without any experience or anything. Yeah, same kind of idea with PayPal. It just makes it easy to get money into it, but not necessarily smart money. They would be the first people to probably capitulate in the event that price dunked down on them. They're the ones that are most likely to buy the tops and sell the bottoms, more likely than not as well. Let me see here. Blockchain Gain says that's the same way Cash App started, but you can transfer it now. Yeah, that's on Cash App though, right? That's not on PayPal. Until they actually do it, you can't assume that they're going to go to that point. So as long as it's a closed system, to me, it's not beneficial to the adoption of Bitcoin. I mean, again, I'd have to dig into it to see how exactly PayPal goes about, bringing in more Bitcoin. Again, if you're buying and selling tickets, IOUs basically, then, we'd have to see what the system is. How much Bitcoin does PayPal actually hold, and how does it buy more, or when does it buy more, or does it have some sort of schedule, or what kind of formula does it use? It's got to have something. I mean, they just can't say, oh yeah, you're buying Bitcoin, and then not have it on hand. So we'd have to see how that works out to really get a better idea of how that may affect the overall Bitcoin market out there. But listen, guys, I just want to make a big point here about Michael Saylor and the rest of them. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again, just so you guys are really paying attention. Because many of y'all aren't versed in large corporate affairs and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I know you got people like Michael Saylor and a few others, rah, Bitcoin, I've got all, and they say all the right things, the things you want to hear. Oh, look, they really get it. Guys, for the last time, I would not put a whole bunch of faith in something a big corporate type like that says, who all of a sudden just started buying Bitcoin, who just a few years back was talking about how nonsensical it was and whatnot, whose company had continued to decline over the last decade. This is something else I've pointed out. And not just him, but anybody else. When you're at their position in terms of wealth and, what they do, when they're buying something like Bitcoin or whatever, I mean, it's purely utilitarian. It's useful until it isn't anymore. They get on there, they say, oh yeah, we're going to hold it forever and it's going to do all these great things. But the reality of it is, if it becomes a burden, if they can find somewhere else that's going to advance their profits or protect them more, they're not going to hold on to it. Everything they've said is just rah, trying to get everybody to buy into it to boost up that price. And so, again, I get concerned about that because sailors all over the place now talking about how great Bitcoin is and everything. And, just as somebody who's been around, people that are in that same kind of, position, financial and wealth-wise and whatnot, everything is utilitarian. Everything has its use until it doesn't anymore. They are not going to sit there and hold Bitcoin no matter what it does. No, they're not. If the dollar was to reverse and head higher, and you get this deflationary thing coming in, it's doubtful most of these people, those bigger types like him, would continue holding Bitcoin, at least in that short term, because they're losing value at that point. If the dollar's moving up, making better strides than what Bitcoin would be, they're actually losing competitive value. So I just don't want you guys getting hooked into the, oh yeah, we're here forever kind of thing. It's BS. They're there until it isn't anymore. They're not going to ride it into the ground, guys. I know some of y'all talk about it, and you see people talk about it. Oh yeah, I'll hold it even if it goes to zero. That's so much nonsense. And that's a silly thing to do. It really is. Why would you hold something that's definitely, that's seriously going to zero? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I just want you guys to be, to understand that. Because it's too easy to get caught up in all the, again, the echo chamber there on crypto Twitter, the bullish, euphoric echo chamber. And it's easy to start buying into what everybody says, and you start believing them because as human beings, it's that appearance of authority. It's somebody that's doing better than you, financially, wealth-wise, somebody who, runs some large corporation. And so you instantly think, oh, well, they must know more about what they're talking about. Maybe they do. In general, they do. But don't think for a second they don't have, that their motive isn't just completely profit-wise and protecting what they have. If they're buying Bitcoin to protect against some kind of dollar destruction, I think that's pretty far-fetched. And why do I think that? Because, again, as I pointed out so many times before, the U.S. is in a certain position in the world. The military might, the economic position they're in, and then of course with the U.S. being the reserve currency, it's a petrodollar. It backs more debt than anything else in the world. So, all these things give it staying power. People have been talking about the demise of the dollar for decades now. And it continues to push on. And so I don't necessarily think that we definitely are going to have some kind of dollar destruction kind of thing that everybody that wants Bitcoin to go up. Remember, guys, everybody's out there is talking about Bitcoin going up and they're getting excited about price. That's purely profit motive right there. If somebody tells you, listen, I'm in Bitcoin no matter what it does because, that's what it's about. It's about the tech and everything. And it's about, the dollar's going to collapse and all this other nonsense. And it's going to become, the used currency in the world. But then they sit there and they start getting excited about price rising up. What they first said is a bunch of nonsense. Because the fact that you're getting excited about price going up shows that it's all about profit. But I don't think this is the thing that a lot of people seem to catch on to when it happens out there, when it's said out there. So, let me see here. Let's see here. So when do you think the C theory of this up move is invalid? Okay, I already mentioned that. Let's see here. C of B before 5 down. Yeah, that's what I've said. Yeah. So, if price heads above the all-time high, then, like I said, you could still get a potential ABC up, as an expanded flat, but I'm not a real big, that isn't, if we're going above the all-time high, to me, it's saying we're probably more bullish than not. So, excuse me. So while I would keep in mind the possibility of expanded flat, I would be leaning a lot more continuation of a bullish move up once it gets above the all-time high. But if we get a strong rejection prior to that all-time high, I think that definitely should have you looking at a possible flat playing out. And then it depends on what's the volume and the price action like coming down to get a better idea of that. If it's not just a bullish pullback, if it's more a completion of that large correction. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's see. Let me see. Do I have any thoughts on cannabis stocks? ACB, Aurora Cannabis specifically, speculative buy, hold for a couple of years. I think right now, if you're buying anything right now in the stock market with the intent of holding it for a few years, just a couple of years, I think you're better off not doing it. I mean, just in general, because there's so much, there's so much lack of surety in what's going on at the moment with the whole transition of power. Trump's still screaming at the top of his lungs that he won the election and everything on there, and it's all fraud. Again, I'm not a fan of his. I'm not a fan of Biden's. I'm not a fan of any real political person. But I do find it quite comical that he's screaming at the top of his lungs, all caps on his Twitter and everything. But I think, if you're looking to buy something to hold for a few years, then risk-wise, I mean, for me personally, not you personally, because I don't know your situation, but me personally, I'm willing to hold off a few months to see how this whole kind of thing settles out here. And that's even if I didn't think we were, likely near that big reversal I've been talking about. Just in general because of of what's going on with this whole presidential election right now and everything, and COVID and all this, and threatening to lock down everything again. Because I think you could probably get it potentially at much cheaper prices if we do get that happening. Now, if you were going to buy now to hold for 30 or 40 years, that's different. That might be okay. But here's my other concern, guys. A lot of companies are near bankruptcy after the first shutdowns due to COVID, right? The government shut down everything. So they're barely surviving as it is at the moment. If there's another shutdown company, which there is, there are lockdowns across the world. Eastern Europe really starting to push them in there. Canada talking about it or already doing, I can't remember. Biden, like I said, wants a 30-day lockdown. Thankfully, he's got a couple of aides who are saying, you shouldn't do that. But if it goes into another lockdown, a lot of these companies are on the verge of bankruptcy. You're going to see a flood of bankruptcies as a result. And the last thing you want to be doing is buying something, hoping you're buying the bottom for a long period of time and the company goes bankrupt, because of this. So I think in general it's kind of dangerous to buy for a long-term hold right now. I think if you want to buy for a long-term hold, a few months from now, you'll still be able to get in pretty good. If you're holding it for quite a long time, you got a lot of upside still on that. So yeah. Hey there, Christian. Good to see you. He said those last hours was hard for my heart playing with 125 times leverage. Just kidding. I was only using 100x. Oh, man. Yeah, I appreciate Man, I'll tell you what. I appreciate you checking in and saying hi. Again, guys, dangerous when you're really playing with high leverage for sure. By the way, yesterday, last night, right before this, when we were up there at this top area up here, I posted some updates there to Discord for our Discord members. I let them know that here on the 6 hour, we were printing a TD9. And then, of course, that the 8 hour and the daily would be printing a TD9 next. So the next candle for the 8 hour was a TD9. The daily, again, we're on an 8 right now. So when it closes the end of today, the next candle will be a TD9 coming up there. Of course, the weekly is a TD8. The monthly is a TD8 as well. So, I think there's within the next few weeks, if this thing is really bullish, I think within the next few weeks we've got a good culmination of confluence of countdowns and whatnot and resistance areas to potentially see a large pullback, finishing up something that we haven't really had yet. If we get that, over the next few weeks, if it doesn't happen, sooner, say, just because again, you'll have that, TD9 on the weekly next week, and then a few days after that weekend, you'll have a TD9 on the monthly. And so a lot of confluence and all that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Let's see here. Let me see here. Common Man says the dollar isn't going away, but the DXY chart is junk, in my opinion. Bear flag. I see it differently. I see this as, again, we had this possible triangle thing going on. I really don't think we've got that anymore. I think it is the other alternative we're looking at here, which is an ending diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, working on 5. Now, if this count is correct, then it cannot go below 91.04. If it goes below 91.04, that makes wave 3 the smallest. We can't have that. But I think realistically, if this isn't any diagonal in play, we're just going to get a little bit below this 91.723 area. We'll hit just a little bit below that. And if this isn't any diagonal and that happens, we get that 5 there, you should expect a very strong reversal coming out of it. Ending and leading diagonals tend to have very, very strong, powerful reverses. And so if we get that coming out of there, that should affect all markets. All markets should take a strong hit in relation to that. As is usually happen when Bitcoin or when the dollar really moves, the rest of the markets kind of get shot down. It's that whole everybody's fleeing to the dollar, leaving everything else kind of idea. So, again, this is what I'm looking at the moment here. If this isn't any diagonal going on there, and we get that strong turn up there for sure. But I may be wrong. But that right now is still what I'm looking at, and very very realistic possibility here as we continue to look through it there. LXT says lots of countries all over Europe are in lockdown. Yeah, right. Let's see here. What is your mind to the DXY? Marcel asked, and I just got that there, bud. Yes. Let's see. Casper says, always an exception to the rule. Some people do and will hold out until it drops to 0. Politicians will hold on to a fixed false belief even if their popularity dropped to below -0. Yeah, no doubt. Some people will. Some people don't. I think there's I don't think there's a very large group of people that will, though. Nowhere near the amount of people that actually talk about it online. I think most of them are just, whatever the word you guys want to use. I think you say LARPing or something. I can be honest, I don't even really know what that means, but I think that's the word you guys use. But basically I think they're just saying it. I don't think it's realistic. Most people. Let me see here. Hey there, Martin. Good to see you. Common Man says the Bitcoin monthly chart is very bullish. Of course, there will be a pullback, but I'm bullish going forward for sure. It's bullish as long as it ends where it is, right? But how bullish is the monthly chart? How bullish is the monthly chart if you close back below this 13,880 area right here? If you do that and you close back below that, it's not a bullish chart at all. Because at that point, all you've got are wicks above it, and you keep getting rejected right here at this level. You would have this huge upper wick. And so that wouldn't be very bullish at all. If it closes like this, yes, bullish. Quite bullish if it closes like this. But we've still got another half a month still basically left. Very far from being over. And if we're closer to the top than not, and we've been moving up so sharply, we get a strong drop. I mean, again, yesterday, $1,200 drop here in like 5 minutes right here. So you can see some, and with the way this is positioned here, you can have a cascading longs event as it shorts down here. You know, you hit the pocket, boom, shoves it down, hits the next one, boom, shoves it down, hits the next one, hits the next one, kind of idea. You know, and again, by the time you're getting down here, where you have, you know, this area here, it's quite possible. It's quite possible. So I think the monthly is way too early to call whether it's currently, you know, going to be bullish or not. I think there's definitely a possibility for it if it closes up toward the highs. But again, with half a month still to go and us being so close to where we are and how vertical price is going, I don't know. Are we really going to be able to continue pushing that up through the end of the month? Or are we going to take a hit prior to Thanksgiving? You know, so what happens at Thanksgiving this year, you know? 2017, everybody was talking about Bitcoin, right? How great it was. 2018, everybody was getting hated on, wasn't getting invited to Thanksgiving dinners. Here we are in 2020. You know, what's it going to be? So we'll see. Let me see here. Oh, let me catch up with you here. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Tellurider's pointing up. He says, bringing up the point, if you use TradingView, they're going to have a Black Friday sale. So if you're looking to get a TradingView subscription, or if you're looking to, you know, maybe you're thinking when would be a good time to add to your TradingView, you know, time that you have, the best time is definitely Black Friday. So be sure you guys are paying attention to that. Our members keep everybody up to date about that on there in Discord all the time for sure. But yeah, so a lot of stuff there. Hank says, I hear the exact same nonsense as I did in Q4. Makes me take securing profits very seriously. Yeah. I mean, listen, guys, at the end of the day, whether you believe it's going to potentially go up or not, you don't know for sure. And the one thing I can definitely say to all of y'all is that nobody ever lost money taking profits. That doesn't mean, oh, price went up higher, so I lost that profit. You never had that profit to begin with. It was never guaranteed to go up. If you are in profit today and you close out, lock in that profit, you've locked in profit, period. Anything else is speculation. And speculation is fraught with risk. I think, you know, retail traders, you absolutely have to understand that and get that, get that down. You really do. Because if you don't, you're going to end up making some pretty bad decisions based on the erroneous way you're looking at it. So you don't want to do that, all right? Hey there, YouTube TV canal. I hope I said that right. Do I got a Discord? Yeah. You can get it easiest. Just go over here to howtotradetowin.com and you can read, you know, what we offer there. But we do have a free side to it. You can just come in right here to this Discord thing and hit connect right there. And it'll take you over to it to do that there as well. So it's 12 o'clock, guys. I got to get out of here. So listen, I really appreciate you guys joining in. I didn't mean to start off the stream with the the sad news of what happened personally with me, but I do appreciate your understanding. That said, I'll be back Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll take a look at everything. We'll take some requests for charts. We'll look at gold and silver and oil and natural gas and like we always do. Bitcoin and everything else, stock market. And so hopefully you join us then. It's a bit longer show. It's usually about 2 hours instead of just one. So other than that, guys, if you want to keep up with what we do all day, every day, right here, guys, howtotradetowin.com. Join us in there. It's a lot of fun. You see it right up here. Let me see. Right up there toward the top. howtotradetowin.com. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so far for being a part of it. As I said, remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's it. Risk management is the most important thing you'll ever do as a trader on a daily basis. It is where you make your money. All the rest of what we do on the charts is just, the cherry on top, basically. But you make your money with your risk management. Don't just ignore that, okay? Take it seriously. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Love you guys. Thanks so much for being a part of this. We'll catch you all on Friday or, again, in Discord if you're there, all right? Take care.